I'm at Blair Waldorf's house, tutoring her younger brother. Suddenly, a notification from my online girlfriend, B, lights up my phone. B, my mom hired a tutor for my little brother, and of all people, it's this guy from my university. He's so annoying. What coincidence, I murmur, looking at Blair, who's completely absorbed in her phone across the table. My heart does a little flip. Babe is seriously the worst. I can't stand him. Blair's head is still down, her thumbs flying across the screen. I freeze, too afraid to reply. It couldn't be that much of a coincidence, could it? Even if I did find her using the people nearby feature. Peter, can you actually focus on teaching my brother? Blair's voice cuts through my thoughts, sharp and cold. Stop staring at your phone. You're getting paid for this. Right, sorry, I say, quickly putting my phone down. She immediately looks back at her screen and starts typing again. A second later, my phone buzzes relentlessly in my pocket. Seriously. She tells me to get off my phone, and then spams me with messages. I look up and meet her glare, a flicker of irritation in her eyes. I silently switch my phone to vibrate. She doesn't seem to notice, but my mind is racing. I still can't believe it. The girl I've been talking to online for months, the one I've been pouring my heart out to, is the undisputed queen bee of our campus, Blair Waldorf. She's lounging in a silk pajama set that probably costs more than my monthly rent, an annoyed pout on her flawless face. She exudes an aura that says she wants me gone. Her beauty is intimidating. Her long, pale legs are crossed under the table, a constant distraction. The scent of her expensive perfume clouds my judgment, and for a moment, I almost forget how to solve a simple algebra problem. Peter, can you check this for me? Her brother, Kevin, slides his notebook toward me, beaming with pride. I glance at his work. His followed the exact steps I showed him. The kid's a genius. I explain one concept, and he can apply it to 10 different problems. This is perfect, Kevin. You're a fast learner, I say with a genuine smile. Anything else you're stuck on? I check the time and realize I've already been here an hour over schedule. So much for getting paid overtime. My heart aches at the lost income. Kevin might be brilliant, but his focus in school must be non-existent if he needs this much remedial help. Nope, I get it now. Thanks, you're a great teacher. Just then, the door opens and Mrs. Waldorf enters, a graceful smile on her face. You can tell where Blair gets her looks. Her mother is stunning. Kevin, honey, how is Mr. Parker as a teacher? Are you understanding everything? He's awesome, Kevin exclaims, his head bobbing enthusiastically. He's super patient, and he explains things really well. Plus, he's cool. Mom, you have to let him stay as my tutor. I keep my face neutral, but inside, I'm celebrating. I can't help but sneak a glance at Blair. Her expression is the polar opposite of her brother's. Her face has grown darker with every compliment Kevin gives me, and she's gripping her phone so tightly I think it might crack. Well, Mrs. Waldorf says, clearly pleased. I have never seen you so happy with a tutor. It's settled then. Peter will be your teacher. Kevin practically jumps for joy. Mrs. Waldorf looks at the clock. Peter, it's gotten so late. Why don't you stay the night? You and Blair go to the same university. You can just ride together in the morning. It'll be much more convenient. My blood runs cold. I instinctively look at Blair, and our eyes lock. I quickly wave my hands. Oh. No, thank you, Mrs. Waldorf, I have to get to the hospital, and please call me Peter. A look of pity crosses her face. You're such a responsible young man. My Blair could learn a thing or two from you. As I lower my head, my eyes accidentally fall on Blair again. Her silk top is slipped down slightly, revealing the delicate curve of her collarbone and the barest hint of cleavage. I'm staring, mesmerized, when a hand shoots up and yanks the neckline back into place. I look up and meet Blair's furious gaze. Her porcelain cheeks are flushed a deep crimson, a mixture of embarrassment and rage. Under the bright lights, she looks even more captivating, but I force myself to look away. I have a feeling that if I keep staring, she'll find a way to tear me limb from limb in a dark alley later. Her mother remains blissfully unaware that I just accidentally offended her daughter. The city hospital is quite a drive from here, she says. Blair, he will drive him. I'm about to protest again, but Mrs. Waldorf is already pulling a reluctant Blair to her feet. Did you hear me? Drive Peter to the hospital. Do you have any idea how hard it is to find a tutor Kevin actually likes? Blair grudgingly grabs a set of keys from the table. The key fob has a prancing horse emblem. A Ferrari. Of course. Her family's wealth is legendary on campus, the most expensive penthouse in the city. A new Ferrari for school. It's a combination that has intimidated nearly every guy who might have considered asking her out. After saying goodbye to her mom, the moment the front door closes behind us, the chill runs down my spine. You pervert, she hisses. And you call yourself a teacher. I was actually going to apologize. But her accusation extinguishes any such intention. What are you talking about? I ask, feigning innocence. You were staring at my legs the entire time. Don't think I didn't see you. I had to keep adjusting my clothes because of you. She's a full head shorter than me, which slightly diminishes the impact of her tirade. A mischievous thought pops into my head. Well, in that case, I should be thanking you, Blair, I say with a smirk. If you hadn't pulled your shirt up, I wouldn't have seen that lovely view. Her expression shifts from suspicion to mortification, and finally, to pure rage. Peter Parker, you disgusting creep. That's it, you are not tutoring my brother ever again. She lunges at me. But her attack is cut short by the sound of the front door opening again. Blair, why haven't you left yet? Her mother calls out. Peter is in a hurry. Blair's fury transforms into a murderous glare directed at me. Stay right here, she sees. We'll go get the car. Watching her storm off toward the garage, I silently thank Mrs. Waldorf for saving my life. With Blair gone, I finally have a chance to check my phone. Her last message, a cute, pleading sticker, was sent just a few minutes ago. Scroll up. Bae, why aren't you answering me? Bae, that tutor wasn't even paying attention to my brother. I had to tell him off. Oh, for God's sake. Does she have to share everything? I used to find her openness endearing, her occasional clinginess cute. But I can't reconcile the sweet, vulnerable girl I text with the cold, hostile Blair Waldorf who has hated my guts for months. A new message pops up. Bae, when are we finally going to meet? I promise you won't be disappointed. She'd been pushing to meet more and more lately. Thank God I've managed to stall. I can't even imagine the fallout. Away. I'm ugly. Let's just forget about meeting. Bae, you finally replied. What were you doing? I've been waiting. Sitting in her hallway, texting her while she refuses to go get the car. A wave of irritation washes over me. Some idiot just ticked me off. A little angry. The three dots appear instantly. Bae, what idiot? Who dared to upset my baby? I almost laugh out loud. I'm literally complaining about her to her. Babe, and now my mom is forcing me to drive him. I'm not going to. He'll just go sleep in the car. Is such a major creep. And sure he has some gross intentions with me. I knew she wouldn't let it go. Why do you have such a big problem with this guy anyway? Egg-tied, fishing for information I already know. A moment passes before she replies. Because he talked trash about me behind my back. Of course. She hasn't forgotten. It happened during the pandemic lockdown. All our classes were on Zoom. I was new to the software and couldn't figure out if the little red line through the microphone icon meant I was muted or unmuted. Just then, my roommate and best friend, Ned, sent me a message. And dude, check out Blair Waldorf. She's gorgeous, and that Ferrari I think I'm in love. But some rich dude asked her out the other day and got shot down. I guess I don't have a chance. I almost replied, buddy, you never had a chance, but in an attempt to comfort him, I blurted out. Man, look at her face. Stare at it too long, and you'll get frostbite. I don't see what the big deal is. She's not that hot. Date her, and you'll probably end up in therapy for domestic abuse. The professor cleared his throat loudly. Mr. Parker, please refrain from private conversations during the lecture. Mute your microphone. I froze. Another friend messaged me. Friend, Peter, you weren't muted. The whole class heard that. Ned, Peter, I hate you. From that day on, the way Blair Waldorf looked at me changed forever. Even after we returned to campus, the story spread like wildfire. Guys I didn't even know would point me out in the hallway. Some of Blair's admirers wanted to fight me, but I managed to de-escalate things. Blair herself, however, never said a word to me. She just ignored my existence. Until now. It seems I hold a special, irreplaceable place in her heart after all. She probably never imagined that her secret online boyfriend was also her #1 public enemy. As I'm texting Blair, I open up the Uber app. Just then, the door opens again. It's Mrs. Waldorf. Peter, you're still here? She asks. Surprise. She looks around. Where's Blair? I can't let Blair drive me. I'm pretty sure she'd accidentally drive us both off a bridge. It's okay, Mrs. Waldorf, I have already called a car. Cancel it. Just cancel it. Blair will take you. She puts her phone to her ear, gives me a reassuring smile, and steps aside. Blair, where are you? Are you to find your mother again? A minute later, she gives me a thumbs up. Soon, a red Ferrari screeches to a halt in the driveway. Blair glares at me. As I get in the car, Mrs. Waldorf rushes over and pulls Blair's ear through the open window. You be nice to Peter. It took a miracle for Kitten to not drive a tutor insane. Don't you dare scare this one away. Okay, Mom, I get it. Blair yelps, quickly rolling up the window. The rich, floral scent inside the car is intoxicating. I desperately want to text Ned right now. The car he worships from afar. I'm sitting in it. We pass a 24-hour pizza place, and I ask her to pull over. She glances at me, her face a mask of wary resignation that screams, "You are so much trouble." The second I step out of the car, my phone buzzes. It's her, of course. My punishment, I suppose. This time, I think, am not answering you. I think back to how we even met. It was during a late-night session of League of Legends. I was in my ranked placement matches and desperate for a competent teammate. I checked the nearby players list, and she was the only one at Diamond tier. On a whim, I sent her an invite, never expecting her to accept. But she did. Thinking about it now, it's insane. Blair Waldorf, who gives no guy the time of day, agreed to a relationship with a random stranger online. If Ned ever found out, he would probably have an aneurysm. I grab a slice of pepperoni pizza and get back in the car before checking my messages. Bae, can we please meet? I don't even know what you look like. Bae, if I were as beautiful as that guy from your university, would you still like me? That was the question she'd asked earlier, the one I hadn't answered. My phone buzzes with a new message, and I hear the notification chime from her phone simultaneously. She glances at it but doesn't reply. She is, after all, driving. We're here. Her voice is ice. It's hard to imagine that same voice calling me babe with the sweet, cloying affection she uses in her texts. The thought is both thrilling and terrifying. Thanks, I say, hesitating for a moment before getting out. The second my feet hit the pavement, the Ferrari roars away, leaving me in a cloud of exhaust. So heartless. It takes me a while to find my mom's room. It's a private suite on the top floor. She never wanted me to visit. I find her alone, looking perfectly healthy. Mom, how are you feeling? Her expression soars the moment she sees me. She hops out of bed and tries to push me out the door. What are you doing here? Go away. Mom, I know you're only in the hospital to chase that doctor, I say, exasperated. It's fine, I saw him leaving for the night. She lets out a sigh of relief and collapses back onto the bed, her frail act returning. Good. He can know I have a gruesome like you. Not until he agrees to be with me. I can only sigh. I brought pizza. Want some? Just leave it there. You can go now. I sit down beside her. Mom, why don't you just come home? I hate being in that big house by myself. It's so empty. She's too busy devouring the pizza to pay me any mind. That's why you got a job, and why did you have to dress so plainly? I buy you all those designer clothes, and you never wear them. Honestly, what did I do to deserve a son like you? Her decision is final. I'm not leaving. I'm so close to winning him over. I can't give up now. Just then, my phone screen lights up. It's a text from Mrs. Waldorf. Waldorf, Peter, would it be possible for you to tutor Kevin after school during the week, in the evenings? It'll increase your pay, of course. You can just come home with Blair after your classes. After an hour of failed negotiations with my mom, I give up and check into a nearby hotel for the night. Tucked into bed, I start texting Blair. It's strange how comforting it is. Online, she's a completely different person. The contrast is daring. Babe, if you looked like that guy from my school, they'd have to seriously reconsider things. That was her reply from hours ago. To my question on the car ride. I thought you said you'd like me no matter what I looked like. Her typing speed slows considerably. Babe, well yeah, but you can't look like that jerk. Date of nightmares. She really holds a grudge. I only said she wasn't hot, which is objectively false. Why is she so hung up on it? Babe, hubby, why didn't you ask me to play games today? My skin crawls at the pit name. I can't even begin to imagine the real Blair Waldorf saying that, or what expression she would make. Hubby, don't call me that. She replies with a sticker of a crying kitten. Geez, woman. Get a grip, I think. You're an ice queen in real life. You don't have to let yourself go completely online. Let's just drop the nicknames. I've been busy. I probably won't have time to play much during the day or evening for a while. If it wasn't for that one extra hour of tutoring, we chat for a little longer until it's nearly midnight. Bae. Good night, hubby. Good night. I type out the word baby, but delete it. And genuinely afraid that if she finds out the truth, she might actually kill me. My mom's Porsche sits in the driveway of our empty mansion. But since I don't have my license, I still have to take an Uber to campus every day. As soon as I get out, I see Ned waving frantically at the gate. Peter, dude, What are you doing here for an EM class? Am I still dreaming? A deafening roar cuts him off as a familiar red Ferrari screeches to a halt in front of the school. As expected, Blair Waldorf always makes an entrance. But something is different today. The crowd at the gate is huge. What's going on? I asked it. He gives me a knowing look. You didn't hear. It's Blair's birthday. Bryce Walker announced he's going to ask her out today. Everyone's here for the show. I spot Bryce in the crowd, holding a ridiculously extravagant birthday cake. People around him are whispering. You're here early to watch. I ask him. He scoffs. Watch what? The rejection. Everyone's here to see him crash and burn. Does anyone actually think she'd say yes? Bryce Walker is a big name on campus, known for being rich and incredibly arrogant. He's always decked out in designer labels rumored to be knockoffs and supposedly has connections with the dean. He seems pretty good looking, though, I observe. Even from a distance, I can tell he stands out, with his tall frame and sharp features. And claps me on the shoulder. You're so naive. Tons of guys have tried to ask Blair out. You ever see her with any of them? Besides, Bryce's personality is trash. There's no way she'd go for him. Blair is still sitting in her car, taking her sweet time. What's so bad about his personality? I ask. He corners kids in the bathroom and bullies them. Thinks his family's money makes him untouchable. He especially targets students who aren't well off. The guy's a psycho. He actually posted in a group chat that he was going to do this, and just here to watch him get humiliated. Suddenly, my phone buzzes. The caller ID says employer, Isis Waldorf. Hello, Isis Waldorf. Peter, has Blair found you at school yet? I look at the Ferrari parked a few yards away. A few seconds later, the Ferrari door opens, and Blair steps out like an ice princess from a fairy tale. Bryce, his face full of confidence, approaches her with the cake, and grabs my arm, his face alight with anticipation. Blair, happy birthday, Bryce begins, holding out the cake. Our families have known each other for a while, and I think there are some things that should be said. Blair stops, her cold eyes glancing at the cake. She makes no move to take it. Thanks, she says, her voice flat. But I'd rather you didn't. She walks past him, leaving him frozen in place. The crowd erupts in quiet snickers and pitying looks, and is ecstatic, squeezing my arm so hard I almost yell. I knew it, he never stood a chance. This means there's still hope for me. Then, I realize something is wrong. Oh my God, Ned whispers. Why is she walking toward us? Sure enough, Blair's icy, murderous gaze is locked directly on me. Ned is panicking now, his grip on my arm tightening. Peter, why is Blair Waldorf walking over to you? Dude, what is happening? So this is what her mom meant by find you at school, I think. And you're going to break my arm, I hiss. When she is finally standing in front of me, I notice her ears are bright red. I suddenly remember her mother's tactic from the night before. Did she get her ear pulled again this morning? She glares at me with the same chilling indifference she just gave Bryce Walker. I'm formally inviting you, she said, her voice dripping with mock politeness, to come home with me for lunch. You will be there. Got it. I hesitated for a second, then gave a stiff nod. The moment I agreed, a flicker of something unreadable crossed Blair's face before she turned and stalked back to her car. Instantly, I went from a bystander to the main character in this high school drama. The Ferraris engine roared as it sped onto campus grounds, and stared at me, his eyes wide with a mixture of awe and disbelief. What the hell was that? He whispered, his voice cracking. You go to her house once and you've already got her. He clutched his chest dramatically. Dude, I thought we were brothers, and you go and steal my future wife. I grabbed his arm, trying to snap him out of his fantasy. What are you talking about? I'm just tutoring her little brother, Kevin. Stop being so dramatic. But Nan was lost in his own world, his expression one of dreamy adoration. You're so lucky, man. I wish you two all the happiness in the world. Before he could continue his imaginary wedding speech, my phone rang. It was Mrs. Waldorf. I take it Blair found you, then, she asked, a clear note of pride in her voice. I glanced in the direction the Ferrari had gone. Yeah, she just did. I knew it, she said, practically beaming through the phone. Blair is a wonderful girl, but she can be a bit cold to people. And you, Peter, you're too shy. I knew you wouldn't dare just come over on your own, so I had to make her personally invite you. You can relax now. So that's why her invitation felt more like a threat. Relax. Ma'am, this is making me even more stressed. Thank you, Mrs. Waldorf, I managed to say. After I hung up, Ned poked me cautiously. Peter, I think you're officially the center of attention. He was right. The crowd's focus had shifted entirely from Bryce Walker to me. Bryce, in particular, was was glaring at me with the kind of hatred reserved for a mortal enemy. In everyone else's eyes, I had just swooped in and hijacked his grand romantic gesture. Suddenly, I felt the uncomfortable shame of being the other man. Let's go, let's go. Nothing to see here, I said, grabbing Ned's arm and pulling him toward our classroom building. Once we were away from the crowd, his curiosity reignited. Wait, didn't you totally trash talk Blair during that online class? And now you're tutoring at her house. Isn't she making your life hell? I wince. Don't remind me. I've only been there for a few hours, and I feel like she's already plotted my demise a dozen times. You know, Min said thoughtfully, if it weren't for that incident, you'd probably have a better shot with her than Bryce. I waved him off immediately. Don't be ridiculous. And not even in the same league. Ned's expression turned serious. Why not? Do you not own a mirror? You're a good-looking guy. Plus, you're rich, probably richer than Bryce. And you're not a total jerk about it. You're a perfect match for the Waldorfs. Why do you always sell yourself short? Ned was the only one who knew about my family's money. Hearing him say all that, I pulled out my phone and looked at my chat with Blair from last night. My eyes landed on the name she called me, hubby. A strange sense of loss washed over me. If she knew who I really was, would she ever call me that again? Or would she just give me that same cold, dismissive glance she gave Bryce? As I was staring at the screen, a new message from her popped up. Hey, hubby, my mom pulled my ear again this morning. It's all red. It was followed by a crying emoji. But you pick why, I was right. I could be a fortune teller. It's because of my brother's tutor. My mom took it out on me. How did this end up being my fault again? Her tone shifted immediately, and she launched into a new complaint about me. Seriously, has this girl never been in a relationship before? All she does is complain about another guy to her online boyfriend. Good thing that other guy is me. Babe, you have no idea how stupid that guy is. I felt like I'd been struck by lightning. Oh yeah, how stupid. My thumbs were already tipping before I could stop myself. I was morbidly curious to hear her description of my own stupidity. My mom told him to come to the house, but when he got to the gate, there was this other guy there with a birthday cake. So he just stood there, outside the school, like an idiot, and wouldn't come in. He even tattled on me to my mom. I had no choice but to get out of the car and get him myself. Whoa. The ice queen who gave me that death glare a few minutes ago was now whining like a child. Waldorf, your ability to switch persons is truly remarkable. And who tattled? Your mom called me. An idea sparked in my mind. Time for a little revenge. Someone got you a cake. You must be pretty popular. For a girl like Blair, who was suspected had never really dated, that message hit its mark. She was silent for a long time. Yeah, well it's my birthday today. Hubby, aren't you going to get me a present? I thought for a moment. A present would mean meeting up. I quickly sent her a $50 Venmo. Happy now. To my surprise, she didn't accept it. Instead, she sent me back $100. Hubby, use this to buy me a birthday cake and bring it to campus, okay? A wicked grin spread across my face. I accepted the money instantly, and then put my phone on silent. There, I thought. Now you know what it feels like to lose both your money and your man. Bryce and Blair walked into the classroom at almost the same time. Both looked miserable. It occurred to me that I was the cause of both their bad moods, and my own spirits lifted considerably. Blair didn't know why I was the source of her frustration, but Bryce was a different story. The look he gave me could have killed. We had a 2-hour lecture. Every time I looked up, Bryce, sitting a few rows ahead, was turned around, staring at me with pure, unadulterated hatred. What are you looking at? I wanted to shout. You look like a scorned ex-girlfriend. Being stared at for 2 hours straight was starting to get to me. When the bell finally rang, I braced myself, expecting him to start something. But he just sat there, motionless. I guess I'd misjudged him. The second Blair walked out of the classroom, however, Bryce was on his feet, and in front of my desk. So he was just shy. Peter, he snarled, I'm warning you. Know your place. Don't reach for things that are out of your league. I leaned back in my chair. And what exactly is out of my league? Please, enlighten me. His face darkened. He probably wasn't used to people talking back to him. His group of cronies saw their leader getting angry and started to crowd around my desk. You want to go? I asked, unimpressed. Bringing your whole crew. What is this, middle school? Ben stood beside me, looking terrified but not backing down. Bryce was breathing heavily, clearly enraged. You don't know what's out of your league. He boomed, his voice echoing in the now quiet classroom. You're poor. Stop dreaming about latching onto Blair Waldorf to climb the social ladder. You're not worthy. I just smiled at him. It was hilarious, being called poor by a guy wearing a fake designer shirt. He wasn't worthy of Blair either, but I wasn't about to get into a shouting match in the middle of class. I just wanted it to be over. My silence seemed to embolden him. He opened his mouth again, and the words that came out erased any thought I had of de-escalation. Everyone knows it's always your mom picking you up. Wad, you don't have a dad. A tremor went through me. Without thinking, I stood up and slapped him across the face. The sound cracked through the room. The pain of losing a parent never truly goes away. It just scabs over. But when someone rips that scab off, it's raw and bloody all over again. My dad was a firefighter. He was a stern, disciplined man who had been completely won over by my mother's vibrant, beauty-loving spirit. There was a factory fire. The owner hadn't told the first responders about the explosives stored inside. On that day, all the designer clothes in the world couldn't hide my mother's tears. It was the first time I'd ever seen her cry like that. "You hit me." Bryce roared, lunging forward. I braced myself. If he wanted to talk about my dad, he was going to get a lesson he wouldn't forget. Suddenly, a warm hand closed around my wrist, stopping me. I looked up into Blair Waldorf's frowning face. "You fight, too," she said, her voice laced with disapproval. "How are you supposed to teach my brother?" I yanked my arm away. "What does me fighting have to do with teaching your brother?" She gave me a look that said one more word and you're next. The sight of Blair seemed to cool Bryce's rage. His specialty was acting like a perfect gentleman in front of her. The moment she appeared, he scurried back to his seat like a rat. By the time our afternoon classes ended, my stomach was growling. I glanced over at Blair's seat, but it was empty. So much for going together. Feeling a little disappointed, I started packing my bag. A prickling sensation on the back of my neck told me I was being watched. It was Bryce again. He and his friends hadn't left. This wasn't good. And lived in the dorms. I was on my own. "Peter, you're so dead," a voice said from the doorway. I turned to see Blair leaning against the frame, looking thoroughly annoyed. Her sudden appearance was my salvation. "Peter, you're finally here. Come in. Come in, the food's getting cold." Mrs. Waldorf greeted me at the door. I don't know why, but for a simple tutor, she was being incredibly enthusiastic. Kevin was thrilled to see me too. It seemed that besides Blair, the entire family was happy to have me. During dinner, Mrs. Waldorf suddenly said, "Peter, we'd like to double your pay. We just need you to come over for lunch and dinner every day to tutor Kevin." "Oh, no, Mrs. Waldorf, you don't have to do that." "Why the sudden raise?" "Don't feel bad about it," she explained. "Kevin is extremely picky. We've been through so many tutors. You're the first one has actually liked. The second reason is, well, you mentioned your mother was ill yesterday. I know you could probably use the extra money." I was so moved I almost cried. The second reason was clearly the most important one. She thought my mom was in the hospital, and that I was struggling financially. Another misunderstanding. But refusing someone's kindness is often harder than accepting it. A raise was a raise. I didn't argue. I didn't have any more classes, so I was stuck there for the rest of the afternoon. "Peter, do you play video games?" Steven asked. "Are you kidding me? Ever heard of League of Legends?" His eyes lit up. "Can you carry me in a few matches? I'm stuck in my premise. We have the whole afternoon. A few games couldn't hurt." "Let's go," I said. "Easy peasy." "Cool, you're amazing," Kevin exclaimed after our first win. "You're smart, you're good at games, and you're handsome. You should be my brother-in-law." I puffed out my chest, pleased with the compliments. "Alright, let's go again." My phone rang, interrupting me. Yes. It was my mom. I was surprised she was calling me. "Peter, honey, I left a file at the house. Can you bring it to me? Are you free?" Of course it was never just to say hello. I had just gotten a raise, and now I was already skipping out on work. "Mrs. Waldorf, I'm so sorry. My mom's condition has gotten worse. I have to go see her right away." "Oh, dear, do you need Blair to drive you?" No, it's fine," I said, heading for the door. As I left, I heard Kevin say to his sister, "See, Peter's way better at games than you." Blair snatched the phone from him. "Let me see his stats." Kevin held it up. A ranked match, 13 kills, 0 deaths. But it wasn't the score that caught Blair's attention. It was my endgame ad. School's God tier player. Blair glanced at her own game profile. Her ID was School's Goddess. It was the matching name sheet, and her hubby had spent ages coming up with. Her hand tightened around the phone, her knuckles cracking. Finally, she whispered, "I found you." By the time I got to the hospital, I saw a familiar figure by the entrance. Bryce Walker. What a small world. He was alone this time, so I had nothing to fear. I decided to ignore him and walk past. But as I passed, his sneering voice stopped me. Well, but your money looks like karma is real after all. I was in public. I didn't want to make a scene. Is your dad sick? What are you doing at a hospital? My dad's not sick, he scoffed. He's here for a business meeting. A business meeting at a hospital? Weird. I didn't waste any more words on him and went inside. I found my mom's room and saw her talking to a man in an expensive suit. I knocked. Mom, I brought your file. It seemed their meeting was wrapping up. All right, Mr. Walker, my mom said. We've agreed to all the terms. Shall we sign the contract? Excellent. The man picked up a pen. Mom, I started. I almost got into a fight at school today. My mom's hand paused mid-signature. She immediately started scolding me. Why would you get into a fight? That's dangerous. He said our family was poor, which I can handle, I explained. But then he said something about dad. I couldn't take it. I felt my mom's body tense. Fuck. My big mouth. I shouldn't have brought that up in front of her. Who was it? Her voice was calm, but I knew she was furious. The man beside her tried to smooth things over. Kids these days Mrs. Lee, perhaps we should sign first. Dad, are you done yet? The voice came from the door. All three of us turned to look. It was Bryce Walker. Mr. Walker. A business meeting. My God. This man was Bryce's father. Bryce's eyes widened in shock when he saw me. I looked at my mom and pointed at the door. Mom. That's him. I never thought I'd become a tattletale. It's true what they say, you eventually become the person you used to hate. But damn. It felt good. Mr. Walker's face went pale. My mom didn't say anything. She just placed her pen down on the table. Mr. Walker, I think I need to review this contract again. Something isn't quite right. Let's postpone this. The man's smile was more painful than a grimace. Please, Mrs. Lee, my side is all prepared. My mother remained silent. Bryce, get over here, his father hissed, his body trembling with rage. Bryce shuffled into the room, his eyes downcast. Smack. The sound of the slap was sharp and loud. A red handprint bloomed on Bryce's cheek. How many times have I told you not to bully your classmates? His father yelled. Tears welled up in Bryce's eyes, but he didn't make a sound. My mom watched coldly. But on the other hand, was he enjoying this a little too much? He felt like a villain. Is that sufficient, Mrs. Lee? Mr. Walker asked, turning back to my mom. My son was in the wrong. I will discipline him properly. He seemed to see a glimmer of hope. They'll have him apologize to Peter at school tomorrow. How about that? He looked at me. I'm generally an easy-going person, so I just nodded. Very well, Mr. Walker, my mom said. Well, sign the contract tomorrow then. No problems. No problems at all. The man hastily dragged his son out of the room. The moment they left, I threw my arms around my mom. You're the best. That's mine, Mom. Of course, she said, hugging me back. I'll never let anyone bully my son. Just then, the door opened and the doctor my mom had a crush on walked in. He looked surprised to see us embracing. Who is this? He asked. My son, my mom said, before immediately pushing me away. My nephew. On the car ride back, I checked my phone. Blair had been spamming me with messages. The latest one was from 5 minutes ago. Hey, hubby, if I find you all on my own, can we kiss and hug? Kiss and hug. You're standing right in front of me and you don't even know it. Sure. If you can do it. Babe, okay. You just wait. When I got back to the Waldorf's house, Mrs. Waldorf immediately asked, how is she? Your mother's condition. I really wanted to say, I don't have a mother anymore. I'm her nephew now. She's stable, I said. Just some mental issues. Oh, those can be tricky to treat, she said with sympathy. Blair was lounging on the sofa, her legs crossed. She suddenly stood up. Come to my room. I would blame. She didn't even glance at my confused expression, just turned and headed upstairs. Fat. Should I follow her? Here, you're back. Kevin called out from his doorway. I have one more problem I can't figure out. Can you help me? I looked up the stairs, then back at Keaton. My job was to be a tutor. Besides, whatever Blair wanted, it couldn't be good. Which problem? I asked, walking toward Kevin's room. This whole chapter on magnetic fields and electromagnetic induction, I don't get any of it. This is going to take all night. Suddenly, Blair stormed into the room. Her face was a thundercloud. I told you to come to my room. What are you doing in here? My eyes widened. Excuse me, but tutoring is my actual job. Come to my room first, she ordered. You can teach him later. She grabbed my hand and started pulling me out of the room. Sis, let go of Peter. Kevin ran over and grabbed my other arm, trying to pull me back. I was stuck in the middle, feeling completely helpless. What was this? A human tug of war? I know you don't like Peter, but Kevin said, looking pleadingly at his sister. Hey, a little tact please, I muttered. I already knew Blair couldn't stand me, but hearing it said out loud was still a little humiliating. Blair glared at her brother, a flicker of annoyance in her eyes. What do you know? Let go of him. Kevin shook his head, refusing to release his grip. No, you leave him alone. Oh God, are they going to fight over me? Blair, Kevin, what is all this commotion? Mrs. Waldorf swept into the room, pulling Blair aside. Seeing his backup had arrived, Kevin immediately switched on the waterworks. Mom, Blair's distracting me from my homework, and she's trying to bully Peter. It was a performance worthy of an Oscar, but as I thought about it, he wasn't that far from the truth. Mrs. Waldorf's skeptical gaze shifted to me. I didn't dare say a word. I couldn't afford to offend either of them. She must have taken my silence as confirmation of Blair's tyranny. She grabbed Blair by the ear and dragged her out of the room. How many times have I told you not to bother your brother when he's studying? And stop picking on Peter. Now, get out. Mom, let me explain. Let go of my ear. Before she left, Mrs. Waldorf gave me a warm smile. Don't worry. You two carry on. I'll go have a word with her. The door closed, and without Blair's tense presence, the room felt instantly lighter. Okay, Peter, let's continue, Kevin said cheerfully. I nodded. I wasn't wrong about him. The kid was brilliant. Magnetic fields and electromagnetic induction were some of the toughest topics in high school physics, but all I had to do was clarify a few concepts and walk him through 2 example problems. He was able to solve the rest of the exercises on his own, writing out each step and glancing at me for approval. A nod from me, and his face would light up. He had mastered everything for the day. No more subjects, he asked, packing his books. I looked at the clock. 2 hours had flown by, and Blair hadn't come back to bother us. Mrs. Waldorf was clearly very effective. Now what? It was the weekend. My classes were only in the morning. I had the whole afternoon free. As if on cue, a text from Ed popped up. And Peter, get over here, now. You gotta see this. It was followed by a location pin for a karaoke bar, and a room number. See what? I texted back. 5 minutes passed with no reply. Knowing Ed, he was probably mesmerized by some girl. Karaoke on Sunday afternoon. Who does that? Plus, he never used my full name unless it was serious. I usually avoided places like that. But Kevin was done with his work, and I had nothing better to do. On my way, I said goodbye, Kevin. As I was leaving, I noticed Blair was nowhere to be seen. Her mom grounded her. It was probably for the best. She never had a nice word for me anyway. If she knew I was leaving early, she'd probably find a reason to fire me. I drove to the karaoke bar and found the room. The moment I pushed the door open, I knew something was wrong. There was no music, no laughter. My eyes adjusted to the dim light, and I immediately tried to bolt. It wasn't a party. It was Bryce Walker, and 3 or 4 guys covered in tattoos. And Nate. He was huddled in a corner, his head in his hands, his phone on the table. It was a trap. I spun around. A guy with bleach blonde hair and an eyebrow piercing was already blocking the door. I was cornered. Trying to appear calm, I looked at Bryce, my voice steady. What do you want? If you touch me, you and your father are finished. Bryce sauntered over, a smug look on his face. He pointed to the faint bruise on his cheek. See this? My dad has never hit me in my entire life. This is all your fault. And your bitch of a mother. He held up his phone, recording me, a twisted smile on his face. So you have money, huh? A rich boy. You're going to ruin me and my dad. He handed his phone to one of the tattooed guys and nodded at the blonde one. Grab him. The blonde guy lunged, pinning my arms behind my back. Get off me. I struggled, but he was too strong. I managed to kick Bryce in the groin, and as he doubled over in pain, I made a break for the door. I wasn't even thinking about Ned anymore. My hand was on the doorknob when something hard hit the back of my head. A warm, sticky liquid trickled down my face, and my vision started to blur. When I woke up, my head was splitting. I instinctively raised a hand to block the bright light. The memories of what happened before I passed out came flooding back, and I shot up, a searing pain shooting through my body. I was in a hospital room. You're awake. I turned my head. It was Blair. What was she doing here? Her voice was groggy, as if I'd woken her up. There was a hint of irritation in her tone. What happened? How did I get here? I stammered, desperate to know what had transpired after I blacked out. What happened yesterday? Nothing. I saved you. That's what happened, she said, puffing out her chest proudly, her eyes shining as if she was waiting for me to praise her. That's when I noticed the cast on her right arm. Your arm? What happened to your arm? I told you. I saved you, she repeated. They found a mirror. My face was a mess of bruises, some already turning a dark purple. Great. My modeling career is over. Blair, are you sure? They didn't do anything to me yesterday. She looked at me seriously for a moment, then burst out laughing. Do anything to you? The police arrested them all. She wiggled her cast. Don't worry. When I rescue someone, I do a thorough job. It's a shame though. Eating is going to be difficult for a while. I took a hit that was meant for you. Suddenly a thought struck me. Where was my mom? Was she still chasing that doctor? Blair, where's my mom? She hesitated. Your aunt. She had something to take care of, and that bastard Bryce. I'm going to kill him. I tried to get out of bed, but Blair stopped me. Don't bother. He's in a juvenile detention center. Your aunt is handling it. The school has already expelled him. Not that it matters. He's had a complete mental breakdown. What do you mean? Blair glanced at me, then fell silent for a moment before explaining. Because of what happened to you, your aunt pulled out of her business deal with his father. Turns out, his dad had forced her into an unfair contract. When she backed out, their company's funding collapsed. Last night, Bryce's dad, he jumped from a building. Bryce didn't take it well. It's what he deserves. Good riddance. She never did explain how she managed to save me that day. In the weeks that followed, I was in and out of the police station giving statements. When I finally returned to school, Bryce's locker had been cleared out. I was a campus hero for getting rid of our common enemy. The first time I became famous, it was for insulting Blair Waldorf. Now, it was for this. My mom, ever the protector, told the school I was recovering from injuries sustained when Bryce and his friends ganged up on me. She conveniently left out the part about the tattooed thugs. The relationship between Blair and me had softened. She still called me babe in our texts, taking advantage of my anonymity. And I still rode in her Ferrari to Tutor Caven after school. But now, I had a new duty, feeding her, since her arm was in a cast. It was her demand, but I agreed as a way of repaying her for saving my life. One afternoon while I was helping Caven with his physics homework, he asked, Here, do you like my sister? No, I said, though I felt a pang of guilt as the word left my mouth. Then why are you feeding her? It's to repay her for saving my life, that time at the karaoke bar. Oh, so you should thank me too, he said, puffing out his chest. I was the one who told her you went there. If I hadn't, she never would have found you. This kid and his sister were two peas in a pod when it came to taking credit. She asked me where you went, he continued, and I told her you went to karaoke with someone. She got so mad and stormed out of the house. I guess she went to find you. Why? I don't know. She was muttering something about you going out with some other girl. What in the world was that about? Well, in that case, he said, ruffling his hair, I guess I do have to thank you. What do you want? I'll treat you. He thought for a moment. Let's go to the amusement park. Deal, I said. But you have to ask your mom and sister first. He cheered and ran out of the room. A few minutes later, he came back, looking disappointed. What's wrong? They said no. He shook his head. No, my mom said yes. It's my sister. Your mom said yes. What does your sister have to say about it? That's the thing, she agreed. But she wants to come with us. What? Blair. At an amusement park. She had just ruined the fun. That's so weird, Kevin sighed. She's never been interested in amusement parks before. I pictured Blair, with her serious expression, riding a carousel horse. Where is she now? She's changing, Kevin said. She told us to wait. A few minutes later, Blair came downstairs, and my jaw dropped. She was wearing a stunning, backless white dress. She looked like a sculpture, her skin flawless and radiant. We're just going to the amusement park, Kevin grumbled. Why are you so dressed up? If you don't want to go, just stay home. I knew better than to say anything. Yeah, he continued. Peter and I didn't even want to bring you. Blair's eyes shot to me, as if asking for confirmation. Why are you dragging me into this? No, and I'm happy you're coming, I stammered. The tension eased. All right, the car's here. Let's go, I said, eager to escape. In the car, the driver looked at us in the rearview mirror, and chuckled. Are you all going to the same place? Two of you look like you're going on a picnic, and one looks like she's going to a wedding. Kevin and I burst out laughing. Blair turned her icy glare on me. Is it that funny? Suddenly I felt like even breathing was a mistake. Why is she always picking on me? Sis, stop bullying Peter. Kevin chimed in. No wonder you don't have a boyfriend. Blair fell silent, her expression darkening. Peter is smart, good at games, and handsome, Kevin went on, counting on his fingers. And his taking me to the amusement park. Whoever marries him will be the luckiest girl in the world. He turned to me, his eyes sparkling. My friend has an older sister. She's way nicer than my sister, and she's really pretty. I should introduce you. Before he could finish, Blair smacked him on the back of the head. Don't you dare. Oh, why'd you hit me so hard? He winked. She raised her hand again. You want another one? I quickly put my arm around Kevin's head. Don't hit him. You'll damage his brain. Her murderous glare shifted to me. Now you're protecting him. Are you really going to marry his friend's sister? I had walked right into that one. Peter already agreed, Kevin said smugly. He said yes. He agreed to what? Blair exploded. I had never heard her raise her voice like that. Her expression was a strange mixture of anger and something else I couldn't quite place. My face grew hot. She was, after all, the most beautiful girl in school. It was hard not to be affected. He's just a kid, I said, finding my voice. Don't take him seriously. The vulnerable look on her face vanished as quickly as it had appeared. Why is his friend's sister okay, but I'm not? She said, her voice low and intense. I can change my temper. Besides, who was it that made me angry in the first place? I was at a loss for words. Was she proposing to me? She avoided my gaze, turning to look out the window. Never mind. Just be quiet. She had changed her mood 3 times in less than 10 minutes. Classic Blair. When we got to the amusement park, the lines were ridiculously long. I have this, I said, pulling a card from my wallet. It was a VIP pass to the park. The members, the entrance was completely empty. Cool. Peter, you have a VIP pass? Kevin asked, impressed. What about you, sis? That's when I realized Blair was gone. She had been so quiet, I hadn't even noticed her slip away. Then I spotted her in the crowd, a cotton candy in one hand and an ice cream cone in the other. She walked over and handed them to me. For me? I asked, taking them in disbelief. Blair was acting so strangely today. Hey, what about me? Kevin whined. Blair ignored him. He reached into her pocket, pulling out a folded piece of paper. Kevin, give that back, she snapped, her reaction surprisingly fierce. I want cotton candy and ice cream, he bargained. Her face darkened. Fine, give it to me, and I'll go buy them for you. He handed it over. While she was gone, he leaned in and whispered, guess what was written on that paper? How would I know? He grinned. It was a list of how to win a guy's affection at an amusement park. And she had check marks next to cotton candy and ice cream. Win a guy's affection. I looked at Blair, who was walking back toward us. Could all of her strange behavior today be because of me? I shook my head. Peter, that's a dangerous thought. Looks like you're going to be my brother-in-law after all, Kevin sighed dramatically. I quickly pulled out my phone and texted Blair. Hey, babe, are you interested in any other guys? Hey, no, I only love you. I still couldn't believe it. Blair Waldorf liked me. No way. I muttered to Kevin. I'm definitely not going to like your sister. I know, he said. Her temper is terrible. I was more interested in that list. Do you know what else was on it? He shook his head. I didn't get to see the rest. When Blair came back, we changed the subject. What should we ride first? I asked. The roller coaster with a drop tower. The haunted house, Blair said, consulting her list. Of course. To avoid another argument, he agreed. The line for the haunted house was the longest, but with my VIP pass, we walked right in, earning a lot of envious glares. If you get scared, you can hold my hand, I whispered to Blair as we went inside. She acted tough for the first few minutes, but the first jump scare sent her practically leaping into my arms. I swear, I didn't initiate it. My face was burning, and I didn't dare look at her for the rest of the ride. By the time we got out, she was practically clinging to me. I realized then that her attitude towards me had genuinely changed. Maybe what Kevin said was true. We rode the roller coaster and the drop tower next. As I was screaming my head off on the drop tower, I caught a glimpse of Blair's stoic, unimpressed face, and suddenly, the ride didn't seem so thrilling anymore. As the sun began to set, we headed for our final destination, the Ferris wheel. Just as the cabin in front of us filled up, Blair grabbed my hand, pulled me into the next one, and said to Kevin, you can take the next ride. We were sharing the cabin with another couple, who were whispering sweet nothings to each other. Babe, they say that if you kiss at the very top of the Ferris wheel, you'll be together forever, the guy said. I felt a little awkward and turned to look out the window. As we neared the top, Blair leaned in close. "We're at the highest point," she whispered. Before I could react, she took my hand, and her face was inches from mine. "Should we be together forever?" she asked, her ears turning bright red. I tried to pull my hand away, but her grip was surprisingly strong. I met her gaze, and I could feel my own face flushing. "I'm okay," I managed to say. Her face moved closer, and her lips met mine. I don't know how long the kiss lasted, but when she finally pulled away, she was so flustered she couldn't speak. I don't even remember getting off the Ferris wheel. I just remember Kevin staring at Blair's face in shock. "Sis, did you eat something spicy? Why are your lips so swollen?" Blair's face turned a shade of red I had never seen before. She looked at me, a mixture of embarrassment and confusion in her eyes. I didn't go back to the Waldorf's house after that. My mom was finally out of the hospital, and she had brought the doctor with her. At least the house wasn't empty anymore. I still couldn't figure out why I had agreed to that kiss. I didn't know how to face her. I avoided her in class, though I could feel her eyes on me. What exactly are we? A few days later, I re-injured myself playing basketball. I woke up in a hospital room again. "You're awake," the doctor said, then called out the door. "He's awake. You can come in now." Blair walked in, a rare look of concern on her face. "Are you okay?" I shook my head, my voice cracking. "No, everything hurts." I immediately regretted how pathetic I sounded. She gently stroked my hair. "It's okay. I called your aunt. She's on her way." "Thanks." A mischievous smile spread across her face. "No need to thank me, hubby. You never told me not to call you that online," but pulled the blanket over my head, mortified. "You knew who I was, and you didn't say anything," she said, pulling the blanket off. Her eyes were like a hunter's, staring down her prey. "I told you I would find you, and you said that when I did, I could kiss and hug you as much as I wanted." She pouted, as if I had broken a promise. "We already kissed. On the Ferris wheel." The memory made my face burn all over again. "That doesn't count. I hadn't found you yet." I covered my mouth with my hands. This time, she wasn't getting another one. "I'm the one who brought you to the hospital. Aren't you going to thank me properly?" she purred. I shook my head. "Fine," she said, that wicked smile returning. "I'll do it myself." She leaned over and kissed me. I was too weak to push her away. I closed my eyes and surrendered to my fate. When she was done, my lips were swollen again. "There," she said, licking her lips. "Now we just have to hug after you get better." I looked at her, too tired to argue. "Hubby," she said, looking down at me. "Let's get married after graduation." I was discharged from the hospital the next day and went home with her. Now, standing on the altar, I listen as the officiant asks for Blair's vows. I hear the most beautiful words in the world. "Peter," she says, her eyes shining, "if my life were a poem, you would be the first line. All the days to come are the verses that follow. When people read my life, they will start with you. And I will live the rest of my life with the love I have for you."